Good morning. It's 9 o'clock and time for the first meeting of 2011 of the Indian River County Board of County Commissioners. Jeffrey Smith will give the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Flesher. Please rise.
Good morning. Let's pray. Our most gracious and heavenly Father, as we begin the new year of 2011, we stand here today asking that you lead us in a new beginning for this county. Like Solomon before us, we beg for wisdom and strength for this commission as they ponder and debate and decide on the future path for Indian River County. We ask for your mercy, forgiveness, and guidance as we proceed with the business before us today. We also desire to do thy will in all that we do. We ask that a special blessing as we lift up the men and women of our armed forces. Lord, as they defend and protect us, and may you place a special hedge of protection around them wherever they may be. These things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the greatest nation on earth. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under item 4, additions and deletions to the agenda, the county attorney has asked us to pull 8C. Are there any other changes to today's agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner O'Brien, a second from Commissioner Flesher. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Chair will entertain a motion for the approval of the regular minutes of the October 19th meeting.
Move.
Motion for Commissioner Flesher, second from Commissioner Davis. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Chair will entertain a motion for the approval of the regular meeting of November 2nd.
So moved.
I have the motion from Commissioner Davis, second from Commissioner Flesher. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. There's one item under informational items. Moving to the consent agenda. 8C has been pulled. Are there any other items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
We've got a motion from Commissioner O'Brien, a second from Commissioner Wheeler. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. That takes us to public items.
Mr. Chairman, was it pulled or was it deleted?
It was deleted.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it was not. No, the intent was simply to pull it for an explanation.
Oh, I thought you had it. Okay, fine. So we'll go back to 8C for an explanation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. 8C involves your approval of the contract that's at page 12 of your board package. There's a long explanation for that contract, but basically what's happening is a successor developer is coming in, taking over a contract for construction of certain sidewalk improvements in this subdivision. The contract, as it is in your package, calls for that successor developer by January 7, 2011 to post an acceptable letter of credit securing its obligation to perform that contract for construction of sidewalk improvements. The developer has advised us that it cannot get a letter of credit in place in time and therefore wants to post cash. So what we are going to do is amend this contract in its final form for signature and approval by the board to add that the successor developer can either post an acceptable letter of credit or a cash bond by January 7th. If it posts a cash bond, then we will additionally have a cash bond escrow agreement, which we typically require in cash bond situations. So with that change, I would request approval of the contract.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just to get the terminology straight, a bond is what we've changed it from. I'm assuming when you say a cash bond, you're assuming they're putting cash in the bank with our name on it. So it's not really a bond as much as it is just the security.
Cash bond is almost the term, but yeah, it's cash. They're posting cash.
Okay.
There's currently a letter of credit. That letter of credit is expiring, and what we're going to do in the short term, cash will be posted to replace it, and then a replacement letter of credit will be put in place to replace the cash.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Davis, second from Commissioner Flesher. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, just under discussion, Mr. Chairman. And Alan, if they fail to provide it by the 7th, we will move ahead and pull the existing letter of credit.
Letter of credit. That's
okay.
right. That doesn't expire, I'm thinking, till January 11th.
The 16th.
16th? Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
January
So
16th.
just make sure that we don't let that slip by.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Now we'll move on to public items. Public discussion items. A request to speak from Leonard Kaczynski regarding the Florida Statute 468.604. Mr. Kaczynski, good morning. Your name and address for the record, please.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Leonard Kaczynski. I live at the Lakes of Sandridge, 6036 Ridge Lakes, Vero Beach. Just right there.
Can we get some help with Elmo?
Is anyone familiar with
Yeah,
this?
Chris, you're going to have to rise to the occasion.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you all for your valuable time today. First, I would like to say that I enjoy my commute to work every day across the newly completed SR-60. The construction site shop at 74th Street is graded and groomed. I would like to invite you all to my home to go swimming, but I am totally embarrassed by the performance that fell below the standards promised of my patio installed by A&G Pools. 3 minutes is not long enough for me to explain my efforts of nearly 3 years of problems I've had attempting to enjoy my backyard. I am here today because I am looking for support and answers why I must spend additional tens of thousands of dollars for repairs of a construction defect to complete my pool project. I look for answers why the Indian River County building official chooses to compromise your values and refusing to inspect the work that was passed by an inexperienced Indian River County inspector who was released shortly after the final inspection. The first final inspection failed for grade. The next inspection failed because only 100 of the 130 supporting bolts were installed by the subcontractor for A&G Pool. This additional work and incomplete cleanup caused rusting on the pool finish, which needs to be repaired. Several months after the final inspection, my entire concrete patio began to crack. I contacted A&G Pools and they came out and attempted to repair the excessive concrete cracking. The repair of the concrete cracks was not inspected. Soon afterwards, the repaired concrete cracks and additional concrete cracks, 12 of the 16 concrete slabs poured, appeared. After the owner missed all appointments over several months, I met the owner for the first time, who inspected the performance of the contract. Several weeks later, I was mailed an estimate for $800 to attempt to repair the concrete cracks, stating no guarantee that the concrete cracks would not return. I contacted Arthur Allen, and he told me this was his solution. I contacted the Better Business Bureau, of which A&G Pools was previously a member, and after 6 months, the Better Business Bureau removed their rating from A&G Pools for failure to abide by contractual obligations to the Better Business Bureau. I contacted the Master Pool Guild, of which A&G Pools is a member, and provided the Better Business Bureau's statement. And contrary to the Guild's Code of Ethics, they refused the opportunity to inspect the work performance of A&G Pools. Saturday, December 18th, I received a certified letter from A&G Pools. A&G Pools chose to ignore Florida civil law procedure with an illegal cease and desist and threatened to sue me if I continue to contact the Master Pool Guild about the work performance of A&G Pools. I have received several estimates over $14,000 to repair the construction defects of my concrete patio, and that the concrete patio does not meet industry standards. Of course, the slab outside the screen door is nearly a foot off, but what concerns me most is that every time I turn on the light switch to my bedroom, the circuit breaker trips because of the wiring the contracted electrician pull system to the circuit panel. I am looking for answers why the Indian River County Building Department, after several weeks of describing this construction defects, and the work failed to serve as the purpose of my extension of my home, refuses to take personal accountability and re-inspect my patio. Thank you very much, and I hope I can get some support and answers for these questions.
Thank you. Any commissioners have any comments?
Well, I mean, did it pass? I mean, if he got a CO, or
Yeah, from the email we got, it passed inspections that the county made. And is Mr. Gaush here this morning from the building department? I mean, if you might just briefly outline what the county's role is in something like this and how it was either met or not met, we'd appreciate it.
and some resolve too, if there isn't.
Well, we'll start with that.
Yes, Jose Guanch, building official. The subject property was permitted back in 2006. Inspections were done and passed. Subsequently, slab and deck inspection was done. On 11/27/06, it passed inspection. A steel and ground was also done prior to that, 11/13/2006, and it passed an inspection. And a final inspection was approved on that slab on 1/5/2007. All three of these inspectors are no longer with the county due to, we've had cutbacks, as we all know. We went from about 48 employees to about 15 employees currently. They were all let go for those reasons. No, they were good inspectors, qualified people.
Okay, and about the electric, that any...
As far as I understand it here, I do not have, this is for a slab. The permit number that Mr. Kaczynski offered to me was for a slab, not any electrical work or any pool work, just a slab permit.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind is that the county is not a guarantor of any work. Basically, when we go out to inspections, it's the idea to see that some minimal amounts have been done, but it is no way meant to guarantee things. Those are basically civil items between you and the person who installed it. So I don't know if anybody has anything different, but it seems to me that your basic course of action would be a civil action against the person who installed it. And it seemed that at one time, from what you said, the installer had a compromise which you turned back for whatever reasons, but I don't know that the county has any further part in this. It seems, again, that the right place for you to go would be a civil action against the installer.
I have 468-604, Florida statutes. It says the responsibility of building code official to supervise direct repairs. And that's why I'm confused why the repairs weren't inspected, because that's what the responsibilities of the building code official are. And that's why I'm asking why they won't even come out and acknowledge that I have a construction defect. That's my problem. I imagine it's going to end up in civil law because no one wants to take personal accountability for it, and being the victim, I'm the one who will receive all the liability, the tens of thousands of dollars, to take it to civil law.
I don't have a copy of that before me, but Mr. Gauch, are you familiar with that section of the Florida statutes?
I am. The section requires us to, under a building permit, do our inspections, do our plan review, do inspections, and final the project out. And that's exactly what we follow, the course of action under the permit that I mentioned previously. Repairs that were done 2 years after we finalized this out, we had no idea that these repairs were going on. There was no permit obtained for that. So therefore, this office was not involved in those inspections of the repairs.
Thank you.
How many more repairs go on that your office doesn't know about?
Plenty.
I know that there was major repairs done on my house. They hilly hammered the patio door out of the back of the house after the fourth attempt to correct the non-fitting patio door. 6 attempts to fix the interior roof of the house. Irrigation systems that were put in, the pumps were not waterproof, that were put outside, costing members of our community hundreds of dollars in repair costs. That's my concern. Also, why are all these repairs being done and the building department has nothing no knowledge about these.
Mr. Chairman, I could probably help you with a little bit of this. Typically, that's the responsibility of the homeowner to see to it that they hire a licensed contractor that does pull the proper permits. And whenever it's not, unfortunately, it's the homeowner that suffers typically.
Correct.
And so, in that instance, with us not knowing that it's going on, our code enforcement division, it's both fortunately and unfortunately, I guess, that they have to be more reactive than proactive. We don't have the staff, nor do I really think we should be driving around trying to look in somebody's backyard to see if they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. It typically only comes to our attention whenever somebody complains, like yourself.
And your suggestions are from here to get
They
resolution?
sound like you might have, I mean, if you had, well, I don't know where this will wind up, but be careful here, because basically it's your responsibility if you don't pull permits. There's a method for that. It's double the permit fees, and for the inspections to go back through it. Now, there is some ramifications against the contractor, but that's really where this should wind up, in my opinion, heading, because there's not much we can do about what's been done in the cracks. They passed our inspections. It very well could have been bad concrete for all we know, but I don't think we inspect concrete for slabs. So
And I understand it is my own responsibility to ensure that the contractor is doing everything that he's supposed to by pulling permits for repairs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On to public notice items. A notice of change of location for the regular meeting. Mr. Attorney Polakowicz, if you'll read that for me.
Yes, sir. A notice of change of location of regular meeting, and also a notice of scheduled joint meeting with the City of Vero Beach on Tuesday, January 11, 2011 at 9 a.m. The Indian River County Board of County Commissioners will hold its regularly scheduled meeting of January 11, 2011 at 9 a.m. in Building B, Conference Room B1-501 at the Indian River County Administration Complex, 1800 27th Street, Vero Beach, Florida. At this meeting, a joint meeting of the Indian River County Board of County Commissioners and the City of Vero Beach City Council will be convened to discuss possible exchange of city-owned and county-owned properties at the former Dodgertown complex.
Thank you very much. So just to reiterate that, we won't be sitting here next week. We'll be across in Building B, and the main purpose of that is so that we can sit with the City Council of the City of Vero Beach and come to an agreement, hopefully agreed by both boards, about the Dodgertown property in order to help facilitate minor league baseball. Any questions or comments?
And that, Mr. Chairman, that is a formal meeting, so we can take a vote and take action at that?
It is scheduled to be a formal meeting for both Indian River County and the City of Vero Beach.
Okay, good.
And aside from that, we probably won't have too much more on the meeting, but we will have enough to take care of minutes or consent agenda or anything like that. But
It won't
basically,
be as full of an agenda as today's, then.
you know, I'm a small government person, and we're trying.
Mr. Chairman, I have to commend you for that.
You're a person from small government.
Down to one more item, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for that. Yes. And in my agenda packet, I think there's one more item.
Attorney matters?
Yes, for 13A.
Here you go, Chairman.
Thank you. The City First Mortgage Corporation versus Indian River County changed the date for a shade meeting under 286.001. Alan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, back on December 14, I advised this board that I had need for advice on the possible settlement of a pending litigation, City First Mortgage Corporation versus Indian River County. At that meeting, this board decided to hold a closed attorney-client meeting on January 11, 2011, to discuss possible settlement. That closed meeting is authorized under Florida Statutes 286.011, subsection 8. So we were proceeding forward with a joint meeting, a shade meeting to be held on January 11. We have now come to the point where we have the joint city council meeting next week, and it struck me that it would be pretty difficult to hold even a brief regular meeting, a joint commission and council meeting, and also a shade meeting at the same time. So I'm proposing that we move the shade meeting to the following Tuesday, January 18, because it is not time sensitive. So that's my proposal.
Thank you very much. Any discussion?
Move staff recommendation.
We have a motion from Commissioner Fletcher, a second from Commissioner Davis. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, just real quick. Alan, I remember we had a couple of these in the last few years. We also set a time certain.
Yes.
And so that we would say at 10:25, we're going to formally take the break. Do we need to set that time now?
Yeah, in fact, you'll notice that the recommendation is to move it to January
Okay,
18,
right.
2011 at 10:30 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we've already discussed that, and we will arrange the meeting so we can fall with a break, say at 10:15 or close to 10:30, finish up, and we'll be able to make the shade meeting in a timely manner. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. The only last thing on today's agenda is to wish everybody a very happy New Year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner.
I'd like to compliment your at the gate meeting here. This is,
Set the record in the
I'm telling you
bar.
what.
You know, I will note that you and Commissioner O'Brien seem to have one long meeting after another. I don't see what the problem of finishing these up in a timely fashion is.
I agree. I can't, I'm in awe. I'm in awe.
21 minutes?
Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate you all coming down. Hope to see you next week.